Good evening. The Galloping Who's today were on at Rosehill. We'll get to that meeting in a minute. Now, during the week, of course, we had, as usual, a swag of meetings on. The main meetings that I'm interested in, besides all the country meetings, Newcastle raced on Tuesday. It was like a ghost town at Newcastle on Tuesday. There were 4 people there. The rail at Newcastle on Tuesday was 2 metres out from the 800 metre mark to the 400. The track was dead, and there was a very light northeasterly or norwesterly breeze blowing, which I don't think had any effect on the results, but you could easily say it did for some reason. But I think it was more the inside section of the track, because there were no leaders to win at Newcastle on Tuesday, and it was by far better if you were off the pace and swooping, coming down the outside. Although in the last race, well, the winner sat third, getting a good suck behind the 2 leaders. When they hit the line in the last race, there were 12 runners, and the first 11 runners across the line, there were only 2.6 lengths between them, and the 4.6 to the last horse. So it was a crammed finish. But as I say, there were no leaders to win. The faster that they got along, the more pace there was, the easier, of course, it was to swoop. But as I say, off the fence was the place to be at Newcastle, and coming down the outside on Tuesday. We went to Warwick Farm on Wednesday, out at the farm. Now, the track was a dead 5. The rail was 5 metres out from the 1,000 metres to the winning post, and then it was 3 metres the remainder. And no leaders won at Warwick Farm either. There wasn't a leader to only the 7 races. Not a leader got home. But you went to the last race, and in saying that, you say, well, the fence was not the place to be, and I suppose the fence wasn't the place to be at Warwick Farm on Tuesday. The last race we saw, Killer Kath O'Hara go straight. The favourite in this race, by the way, More Love, it was scratched at the barrier, and it was sensationally back from, we put it up a 5-2 chance, 5-2 the field, got out to $3, $4, 3-1 chance. They'd kill you for the $3, 30 and 20 at the finish. It started $3.10, hard to get. It's got its foot over at the barrier and was scratched at the barrier. And going to the lead in this race was perfect opening, ridden by Killer Kath O'Hara, and she stayed near the fence all of the way. It finished up running third. The margins were 0.1 by 0.5 a length. The winner sat directly behind it on the fence and only had to come around its heels. And the runner that ran third in this race, it sat in third position, was a little bit wide coming down the side at one stage, and the margins were 0.1 by 0.5. Now, they were the winner of the last was the closest to the fence that won all day. But as I say, it was better to be off the fence, and there were runners that, for instance, there was a runner in race 5. They said they were going to ride it quieter. It settled back well back in the field, sense and reason, and it threaded its way through the field, turning for home, and it caught a couple of fancy runners up near the lead, emphasising again that it was to come off the pace was the place to be, as were most of the other races when you dissected. Then we had the Thursday provincial meeting at Gosford, and at Gosford the track was dead. the rail was in the normal position, and there was a solid breeze coming out of the southeast. So when the leaders turned for home, they were greeted by a good little stiff breeze. Now, there were, I suppose you could say, 2 leaders that got home. In the it was the 5th race. The 5th race, the leader, Blueprints, it led all the way and held on to win by 0.4 of a length. But notably, when they came to the turn, ridden by James McDonald, this runner was a good 3 horses off the fence. He didn't stay close to the fence, and that was the winning factor for that runner. And as I say, it was a leader to get home. And then we went to the last race, and it was it just goes to show you, in these staying races at the provincials, most of them are very ordinary performers. And when they hit the line, there were 9 runners, and there was only 2.2 lengths between the 9 of them, including a 100-to-1 chance, which was only beaten about 1.5 lengths. So, and in this race, the leader, Charcouche, I should say, Charcouche, well, it led coming down the side, but did get off the fence before the turn, and that was again a winning factor for this horse. There was a runner that took off coming down the side, Love the Beaches, which he got a 1/2 a length in front of the winner, Charcouche, and was still in that position coming to the turn. They were all going down, up and down into one place. Charcouche got the 2 or 3 off the fence. There was a runner railing up behind them, Farm Boy, so it was closest to the fence, which wasn't the place to be. And there was a runner in that race, and God said yes. Well, unfortunately, God didn't say, yes, the heavens are going to open up for you today, because they never ever opened up for And God Said Yes, and it more or less went to the line, not extended. Oh, the last little bit it was, but of course the race was over, and it could have been a bit stiff, but they were all bobbing up and down like corks from halfway up the straight to the winning post. And as I say, only 2.2 lengths between first and last in that race. Run that race over a good few times, and you would get a good few different results. Although I suppose And God Said Yes, it started the 5-2 favourite. It was friendless in the betting. We put it up the 5-4 favourite, 5-4 the field, and it got out to start just starting favourite at 5-2. Another runner, Hey Shazam, was 5-2 out to 7-2, back into $3.70, about an 11-4 chance starting second pick. That's about all you'd say at Gosford. Now we got to this meeting today at Rosehill. Now, there were some plungers pulled off here today. I'd say that after watching the first race and the second race, the pros and also all of their followers said, hello, the fence and the lead is the place to be. Well, there was most certainly nothing wrong with leading on the fence, but as it turned out, this track played very, very fair. As you will see if you watch the tape, there were a big difference in the percentage the bookmakers bet here today in some races. I'll point that out to you as we go. The track today was a dead 4. The rail, as I said, was in the normal position, and in this first race, for the screen punters or the top fluck punters, or those who think they're getting the deal, they got a fairly good deal. Only 100.4 appeared on the screen at top odds, and there was about 3 less in the marketplace, about 97, and this was an absolute strip out for the captains, because there was more or less only one runner backed in this race, and that was the winner, Brown Bomber. This was a 2-year-old race over 1,800 metres. They once it got to the lead, Bomber Brown, which most people thought it would lead, ridden by Jeff Lloyd, who's back in Sydney riding. He just bowled along at his leisure and clicked up at around about the 800 metre mark, and then again at the 600, and kept on going and won by 3.5 lengths, beating the horses sat on his outside. Now, we put it up a $4.60 chance, got out to $4.80 on some boards, which you wouldn't see in the fluck, but it only started the 5-2 favourite. Well, yes, it started favourite. They returned it equal favourite, Proxy number 1. The rider saying that when they quickened and the slow pace didn't suit it, he thought it had come to the end of its preparation, and it is going for a spell now. We put it up the 13-8 favourite, $2.60, and it got out to $3.60, unlayable. Likewise, Standabout, you couldn't give it away. Would the owners of Standabout please step forward? It went from $2.80 out to $5.50, a 7-4 chance out to 9-2 at the end of betting, which you wouldn't see, but it was 9-2 and you couldn't give it away. It was always $5, a 4-1 chance, Charming Lad. Steel Wool was 25 out to 30, back into 25. The winner, as I say, $4.80 bet, started 5-2 favourite, and Palazzo was always a 16-1 chance, $17. As I said, it led, got its own way in front, Brown Bomber, and won by 3.5 lengths. Race 2, they said, now here's a discrepancy of 7% straight away in this second race. They said there was 108.4 on the screen for the robots, and those taking the top flucked, and but in the marketplace a good 7 less, only about 101. Now, after we saw the first winner lead, and by the same token, but the first winner didn't stay close to the fence in the straight. Jeff Lloyd came, he might have been too off turning for home, and then kept on angling a little bit off, and he finished a good 5 or 6 horses off the fence when they hit the winning post. But the next winner, Tromso, who had barrier 1, it sprung the lids. When the gates opened, it went straight to the lead and led clearly by a couple of lengths after they'd gone a short distance, and he rolled along at a good pace, the jovial Josh Parr aboard, and sitting looking at it, half carting, was a very well back runner, Calvo, who a lot of people had coming across and leading, ridden by T. Marshall. This kid claiming the 3 kilos, he rode 4 winners today. It happens a lot, doesn't it, when we have this carnival up in, when the carnival starts up north for the winter in Queensland. A lot of the top riders are up there, and we tend to get some apprentices who can claim the 3 kilos, although Marshall rode a winner today where he couldn't even claim anything. It was a non-claiming race for apprentices. We'll get to that later. And you find that a lot of apprentices do win races during the carnival up in Queensland during the winter, when all of the top riders are up north. He was on aboard Calvo, sat second, and failed to run the leader Tromso down by 0.4 of a length. It pulled badly in the run at one stage. Scream Machine came from midfield, it came from about 4th, 5th position, was only beaten 0.8 of a length, and coming from last, where it always comes from, Ernest, making up a mile of ground, hooking off heels, turning for home. It came down the outside and was only beaten 1.1. Run that race again, you would get a few different results. But as I say, after watching the first and that second race, I think a lot of the pros and other, or their followers, well, they follow, they don't know, but the pros, they said, wait there, this track is a leaders track, and they started to back leaders. Now in this race here, Surge Ahead, although it led, they didn't back it because it went from 5.50, a 9 to 2 chance, out to as much as $10. Very easy to get it to finish. And here is another race where there is 9% at least difference, emphasising, why do you people not come to the racecourse? This Rosehill, the betting ring at Rosehill now, you can get on for a good bit of section there. You can back runners for whatever you want. And we're in the marketplace, there was only a neat 100%. We played Swy with the Grumble and Grunters, less the Toyota Lexus, 109.3 as I say on the screen, only 100 in the marketplace. And like little examples, here we have, of course, Marmello. I think they said the best fluck was $5.50. Well, there was a blind man could have got $6. Darcy Magic, there was as much as $4.80. Here's another runner, Magical Stands. They said the best fluck was $14 or $15. There was $20 available in the marketplace. $7.50 Take Wing, and so forth. There was a good, as I say, 9% difference. This race was won by the Johnny Marshall's young boy, Taylor Marshall, giving him 2 winners on Pinstripe Lane, a visitor from Melbourne. He got a good cosy run in 6th position, and he was sitting in 6th position. There was a bit of a break behind him coming to the turn, and he just eased this to the outside. It kept on coming, and unfortunately the leaders gave in fairly badly over the last furlong or so, especially the leader Surge Ahead, who had 60.5 kilos, 61 kilos with Josh Parr aboard. A 150 to 1 chance deckhand, no, it wasn't deckhand, it was a 50 to 1 chance Stellarize running second, who it was up there, and running second. And Darcy Magic, the favourite, it was always tucked in about 3rd position. It wanted to duck in, caused a little bit of interference, but not enough for any need to go to the steward's room. But as I say, Pinstripe Lane, who had good form around good horses in Melbourne, just kept on going after he eased off heels turning for home, and won by 2 lengths from the very lightly raced Elusive Runner, who made up plenty of ground from well back in the field. And it held on for 3rd, the favourite Darcy Magic, after sitting in 3rd place and having every possible chance. Now, of course, this race, there was a runner here called Take Wing. This race was a 1900 metre race. It's not a very long run to the first turn. After they'd gone 100 metres, there is a crossing, and when they came to the crossing, Take Wing he wanted to jump it, and when he jumped it, he pig-rooted, and he veered off the track, and he lost a good few lengths. And then from that point onwards, when he came back to over to the field, coming to the first turn, he was trapped 3 wide, and he raced in that position to the turn. So Take Wing's performance was a lot better than it looked. It did run 3rd last. It was only beaten 6.8 lengths, and as I say, after saying that, make up your own minds, but its run was a little bit better than it looked. Although the winner did win easily, you'll never know what would have happened if Take Wing wouldn't have jumped to the crossing and raced 3 wide. That filthy Putin, he sent me another case down. Now, that's all we can say there. And as I say, a discrepancy in the marketplace to what you get on the board, and very similar here. This is a big difference in the marketplace and what you can get in the on the screen and in the marketplace. They said there was a fat. Well, you just know it's wrong straight away. 113.4% for the robots, and all those getting top flucked. In the marketplace, if you shopped around, there was barely over 100. There was only about 101. These were the flux. Rockford, $8 out to 10. Romantic Moon, would the owners of Romantic Moon please step forward? $7.50 out to $17. 13 to 2 to 16. Shahad, similar, $11 out to $19. Then we had Sabino Speed, $5.50, a 9 to 2 chance out to $7, 6 to 1. Farewell, which could have been a bit stiff here because it settled down in the last position, and this is where all of a sudden I said to myself, and I don't know about the others, but who'd think like me, because I'm a complete and utter dill. I said, no, this track isn't a leader's track. You can come from behind here for sure, although the leader did win, and this was the worst result for bookies in all day by far. But as I say, Farewell, it settled down in last position. It was always a 20 to 1 chance. It made up a mile of ground and got beat the 0.1 of a length. Then we had Oxford Poet. Now, Oxford Poet, here's the biggest discrepancy of the race. They said the best flucked was $5. I had a bookie back and back with me at $7. Old Muggins here. I did see $8 in the outside ring, a 7 to 1 chance. I did see $7.50 on the fence. Best luck, I don't know. They're blind. They must be blind. The blokes who wrote the prices down. They've got it. They not the rose-coloured glasses. They had the white cane out. They had the white cane out for this race. They said the best luck was $5. As I say, you could have got 8 in the outside ring, $7.50 on the fence, and it only started, believe it or not, a $3.70 chance. They killed you for the $7.50, the $7, the $6.50, the 6, the $5.50, the 9 to 2. They took the $5 for whatever you wanted. The 15 to 4, the 7 to 2, the 13 to 4. Then they stacked up. Now it's all over. It's all over. It's all over. It has been 13 to 2 to 3s, and the pros said, whatever you want, number 7. Dr. Devon, how much? Said, it can't go on. I got the bloke out, started the car in the car park. This wins, I'm out the gate. It was 13 to 2 to 11 to 4. Who wrote it? This kid, T. Marshall. They said, well, I thought it'd go to the lead. When he got to the lead, he had a little picnic. It came and sat on his outside. Rockford, it never, I own the lead, trains it. And it didn't really pressure him. And Oxford Poet had a nice, easy time in front and was able to, once balanced and flattening out after turning, get a good little break on the rest of the field, and it was enough to hold on. Now, I have written on my website about the photo finishes at Rosehill. Now, this horse, the winner, has got a white nose, which when they hit the line, I thought there was a chance the horse on the outside had got the photo, but it didn't. I didn't allow that for the white I suppose that this horse has got. And when you see the photo finish, it's won by that white little blaze on its nose. But as I tell you, and I'd tell the hickey hockeys in close finishes, if you're coming down the outside at Rosehill, I know as soon as you get past the winning post, the track turns very sharply to the right, but until you hit the winning post, try and keep in a straight line instead of veering in when you're getting to the winning post. I know it's only You might say it's, oh, there's only inches in it, there's only inches, but that was the difference between this horse winning and losing. The winner only won by an inch, and I reckon that horse coming in, he only came in about 2 or 3 runners, the second horse, towards the winning post instead of going straight. If he would have gone straight, the margin would have been around the other way. It would have beaten the well-backed Oxford Poet, but it didn't. As I say, it came from last, the second horse, a very good run. All of the others seemed to have their chances. There are a lot of runners in this race that mustn't have been fancied, obviously, by the betting trends. The winner was by far the worst result for captains all day. I did an absolute shite house full on that. Now, the next race, now all of a sudden we saw, as I said to myself, ding dong del I am, you can come from behind, and I was quite right, because here we saw the winner, Cradle Me, come from stone last, where we all knew it would be, but it rounded these horses up as if they were tied to the fence. It went to, now going back to the flux, here's another big difference. I won't drive you mad with going through what you could have actually got. You've got to come out and see for yourself. Don't look at the filthy screen at home looking at these corporates saying this is what they are. Don't you know you're being robbed? You're being robbed. I'm telling you. They said there was 111.8 on the screen. Well, you just know it's not right for a start. Only 103.5 in the marketplace. They returned, for instance, this favourite, Dream Empress, $3.80, and they said that was the best luck. I was $4.20 for whatever you wanted. You could have had 13,000 or 4,000 off me at the finish if you wanted it. I knew it wasn't in the race. I did lay it, but gee, I would have loved to have got some more section out of it. Anyway, it went straight to the lead, Single Melody, and they said to themselves, the pros, no, this track is a leader's track, and we're going to back the leader, and we know who's going to lead. Single Melody is going to go straight to the lead, and they were quite right. And they put their section on it as if there was no settling. We put it up a $7 chance, 6 to 1, got out to $7.50, plenty of it. It did start 13 to 4. So it was 13 to 2 to 13 to 4, $4.20. It went straight to the lead on its outside, Dream Empress. You had the wobbles in the betting at the finish. We put it up the 2 to 1 favourite. 2 to 1 the field, 2 to 1 the field. We said after a little while, you can have 3 to 1 the field, Dream Empress, and the pros said, yes, we'll have a large plate of that. They took not only the $4, but they took $3 off me, $3.80 off me for whatever they wanted. But as I say, I was 13 to 4, $4.20 towards the end of betting, because Single Melody was so well backed. It went to the lead, Single Melody, repeating myself. Dream Empress on its outside. Trap 3 wide was Empress Millie, making sure they ran along a little bit. Then you had the other runners more or less in pairs. The winner, last on the fence, turning for home. In front of it was a runner called Walk with Attitude. On its outside was Caesar's Princess. The rider of the winner, Sam Clipperton, went in between those two runners turning for home. Once they flattened out, eased off heels, and he just rounded them up as if they were nailed to the fence, and won by 2.3 lengths, beating Christy Lee, who sat 3 back on the fence in about 4th last position, 5th last position, but beat it easily. And the leader held on for 3rd, Single Melody. The winner, a very good run. It was resuming today, fresh, came off a couple of trials and absolutely trotted in. Now, listen, Putin, you're going to have to send me a lot more than red down, son. if you want my tips. I'm telling you now. If you want my tips, you're going to have to send section. And if you think I'm going to fall for it, sending it via Nigeria, you're cracking jokes. I'm telling you now, you've got my cucumber. All you got to do is ring me and I'll tell you my account number where you can put it in. I have tipped you, remember that I tipped your swagger winners there at one stage, and you won't hand over. You can't send vodka down in red wine. Now listen, race 6, there was 113.7 on the screen, only 106 in the marketplace, which isn't bad. And here we saw T. Marshall, the 3 kilo boy, ride his 4th winner of the day. And of course, this was the Lord Mayor's Cup, where apprentices couldn't claim. We had 3 apprentices ride in this race. All the top riders are in Queensland. Sam Clipperton, Marshall on the winner, T. Marshall, and Mrs. W. Constant. We know Constant on the 150 to 1 chance. There's music playing. And the apprentices couldn't claim, as I say, which I hate when they can't claim, but he got this runner home, Zephron. It did get a beautiful run. It led in this race, as we all thought, Madam Nash, and you think this field didn't spread out. It led nice and clearly from Laser Flash, who had pulled up with heart fibrillation and was beaten 50 lengths. Sitting third was the winner, Zephron. They said they were going to ride it quieter today, the favourite, I'm Imposing. It was running 4th. And then there was a good gap to Faust, number 9. On its just behind it was Asclepius. On its outside, Permit. And then there was another long break to Wazen, stablemate to the favourite. On its outside, the very well-backed second pick, Kitten on the Run. R. McMahon rode it for P. Moody. He did get lost. He had to get going a lot, or he should have been closer in the run than he was, and this runner most probably would have got home. And then after that pair, after Kitten on the Run and Wasn't, there was another long gap to the last 4 runners. The field was really spread out at the 800 metre mark, and they turned for home. It was starting to get it was still leading Madam Nash, but gave in fairly quickly. Also the runner running second, Laser Flash, it had got outside the leader, Madam Nash, the winner, and then getting up and tailing it through was the favourite, I'm Imposing, ridden by the pumper, but he wasn't able to run this runner down, Zephron, and it stuck on and beat him by 0.2 of a length. Coming from, where did it sit in this race, Successio? Oh, it sat in about 6th position. I missed that. In about 6th or 7th position. It made up plenty of ground, but also making up a mile of ground was the well-backed Kitten on the Run, the second pick, only starting about a $3.80 chance after $5 was given, and it was beaten. The margins were 0.2 of a length, 1.2, 1.3. The 4th horse making up plenty of ground. That's about the favourite had every possible chance. We put it up a $2.40 chance. I'm Imposing. You wouldn't see it. I think they said the best pluck was 260. There was 280 in the given on the fence and also on the outside ring. It did start. It did start the $2.60, or maybe yes, it started a 13 to 8 chance, or maybe 270 after Kitten on the Run was very well back towards the finish of betting after opening up a $4 chance, 3 to 1, 3 to 1 bar it, got out to $5 as I say, but only started 11 to 4, about $3.80. Run that race again. I would say that Kitten on the Run would be the favourite. I'm imposing second favourite, and the others made and a few changes to a few of the others, which I have to do tomorrow. Now, race 7 here we saw. No, this was the fourth winner. That was his third winner, T. Marshall. This was his fourth winner of the day, a day he won't forget, of course. It was the favourite Forster. You wouldn't see it, but as much as the best luck was $3.20, $3.80 was given in the outside ring. Now here, I'll give you the flux because they said there was 110.9 on the screen. Now I counted at top odds what you could have got if you were a keen shopper, 97.5. Now that's a bit of difference, isn't it? These were the flux. Oakfield Commands didn't have a price, $13 out to 31. Mount Nebo, $5.50 out to 7.50, back into 7. King Cobia, $10 into 9, back to 10, back into $8. Sir Burris went from 25, a pony, out to $61. Fort Sumter, $12 out to $16, believe it or not, back into $10. Queen's Elect, with the owners of Queen's Elect, plus a few others in this race, please step forward. $12 out to 31. Reunite, Reunite, I should say, was $12 out to $17 at the end of betting. Foister, $3.80 into $2.90 at one stage, 11 to 4 to 15 to 8, but back out to $3 at the finish of betting. You'll Never, which they said they were going to ride closer today, but unfortunately missed the kick, $6 out to $7. Timeless Prince, $12 out to 15, back into 11. Turnley, 15 out to 18, into 17, but back to 21. And Curanada, $81 out to 201. There's about 13% difference what you could have got in the marketplace to what was actually displayed on the screen for the robots and the top fluckers. They said, no, T. Marshall, you're not going to, we're not going to give you an easy time here. King Cobia went straight to the lead on its outside, Fort Sumter, and he was half carting, but still 3 wide on the favourite, Foister. They didn't go real hard. They turned for home. It travelled beautifully for him. It ducked in slightly under a little bit of pressure when he was getting past the 2 leaders. Getting a suck right behind the lead from barrier 2 was the one that was very easy in the market, Oakfield Commands, and copped a slight check from the winner near the winning post, but not enough for the second horse to protest. It was sucking up right behind them on the fence, as I say, from barrier 2, and it failed to beat the favourite by 0.3 of a length. When they hit the line, there was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Between the first 8 runners, there was only 1.5 lengths, emphasising run this race again, and you would get plenty of different results. For instance, the horse that ran 5th in this race, Sir Burris, was a clear last turning for home. Well, it was last turning for home. It was slightly held up. It was a 60 to 1 chance. It made up a mile of ground, and in running 5th, it was only beaten about 1 length, and there were other runners that were out wide on the track. Timeless Prince finished very wide in the track and wasn't beaten far. Run this race again, you would get a few different results, but the favourite for the Avery backers was the one that got the cash. Now, there was one runner here earlier on in the day. Oh yes, go back to race 4. There was a runner here called Double Eagle. It was the rank outsider in the field in race 4. It was a 100 to 1 chance. We put it up a lemon. Now for you pommies, that's 50 to 1. 50 is a lemon. There's only a few of us know about that, but 50 is a lemon. Got out to the spot, you know about that, you pommies. Got out to 100 to 1. It was last turning for home. It was ridden by Jeff Lloyd. He was just about to make a run between runners after they'd more or less flattened out, and he like a few other runners in this race, he got stopped completely in his stride. Well, he didn't lose, it wasn't badly checked, but lost his momentum and had to hook off heels, and it made up plenty of ground in that race, like the second horse did fare well. Its run wasn't bad for a 100 to 1 chance. So anyway, going back to race 7, as I said, they crossed the line, and there was only 1.5 lengths between the first 8 runners, but the favourite for those Avery backers all cheered to a man. Then we came to the last. Now, what do they say these days? This is a serious horse, or this is a nice horse. I don't say that. I say this is a runner that will definitely be going places. It's very, very genuine. I'm talking about the winner of the last race, As Needed. Captains who it all depended how you handle this meeting. You could have been in front coming to the last, even though there were a lot of pooey results. There were a couple of results if you dodged them, but if you were losing coming to the last race and you stood this Avery, this favourite, as needed, when the gates opened, you said to yourself, gee whiz, thank God for that, because when the gates did open, this runner veered left and hit the outside of the barrier and went up in the air and lost 2 lengths. And ridden by cool Christian Reith, he had no alternative but to ease straight across the back of the field and find the fence and rail up inside 2 runners and finish up sitting 3rd last on the fence. And we all know the result now. It finished up getting the chocolates. We put it up. Well, first of all, again, it is you fluck betters. Again, on the screen they said there was 113.6 in the marketplace, a bit of difference, 102.5. Now these were the flux. 25 Perplexity out to 51, back to 41, back to 51. Toffler 17 out to 21, into 19, back to 21. Transonic 30 to 71. First class ticket 15 to 21 into 18, back to 19. Anamoso $4.20 to $6.50 into $5.50. Exceed and Exalt 30 out to 50, back into 30. We had Dream Folk 20 out to 40, back into 30. Pedreos $10 out to $12. Then we had Wine and Dine 15 out to 17. Well, no whining and dining. We're having turnips on toast again tonight. Every time we lose, we've got to punish ourselves. Now, number 10 in this race was Clever Boy, $10 out to $15 at the end of betting. The favourite, you wouldn't see it, $2.80 given about this, 6 to 4 out to $2.80. It started $2.30, very, very hard to get. Strace, Arm's Length, 50 out to 70. Strace, would the owners of Strace please step forward, 15 out to 31. And the Alfonso, who had every possible chance, $9 out to $13, back into $11. It went straight to the lead. Pedreos, it ran 3rd. Sitting on its outside was First Class Ticket. Well, it might have been, it was the leader, Pedreos, hung after they turned for home. and took the horse on the south side, First Class Ticket, who did finish beating it home only by about 0.2 of a length. Took it a little bit off the track, but they had their chance. As I say, the Alfonso was 5 back on the fence. It never left the fence, and it ran fourth, beaten 1.1 lengths. But this winner, after and on the back of the Alfonso was the second pick, Animoso, and on the back of Animoso, easing off its heels after they turned for home, where there was a mile of room because they really fanned in this race, was the winner as needed. A very, very genuine performer. This horse will win plenty of races. It just went straight through the high diddle and finish up beating the 2 leaders by 0.8 of a length. The 2 leaders finishing very wide on the track, and the winner about in the middle of the track. That was the meeting. The winner of the last race is the horse to follow out of the meeting. It most probably will go north now to Queensland, and whatever is put in up there, it will be extremely hard to beat. But I think you will have to take very cramped odds about it. Good evening.